I've been using the M4 MacBook Air every single day for the past year, from editing videos to running my business, traveling, and even replacing bulkier laptops such as my MacBook Pro M3 Max. Did Apple finally make a perfect MacBook Air, or there's some things that no one is telling you about a year later? Now, I want to start things off with performance, because honestly, this is really where the M4 surprised me the most. Because to be quite frank, if you're going from an M2 to the M3 to the M3 to the M4, the design is exactly the same. Everyday tasks such as browsing the web, checking emails, watching YouTube videos, it feels instant and it feels like it's still brand new. And for getting business done, as we know, tax season is around the corner. I'm doing my taxes all on my MacBook Air. I find myself using Apple iWork apps such as Pages, Numbers, not so much Keynote, but just Pages with their word processing, and Numbers creating spreadsheets just to organize my taxes. And believe it or not, Apple Intelligence plays a pretty significant role here, kind of speeding up my tasks and workflows, and even templates for that matter. With the M4 chip, it doesn't break a sweat at all. And also last month, I just got back from Las Vegas for CES. I had a long list of meetings to attend to. I actually click and drag the entire list that I had, and I just confined it into a table. But what about the Pro apps, such as Final Cut Pro, Premiere Pro, Photoshop, Lightroom? I did it all with the MacBook Air here, and let me tell you, there's no lag whatsoever. And even applying custom LUTs and just color correcting the videos, it does not lag whatsoever. By the way, this is the top of the line MacBook Air. So this is the one with 512 gigabytes of SSD storage with 24 gigabytes of RAM. And especially if you're gonna be editing short form content such as TikTok using CapCut, for sure, you're gonna edit videos, you're gonna zip through those videos with the M4 chip. And I can only fathom and imagine how the M5 processor is gonna perform. Even though we have a little taste of the M5 chip, thanks to the MacBook Pro M5, I made a video on that. The links will be down below. What would be the difference between getting the MacBook Pro M5 versus a M5 MacBook Air? Yes, it has a fan, but that's just to keep the MacBook Pro cool. You have the ports, you have a better display. You're gonna have more options such as the Pro chip and the Max chip. So if you want more performance, then you will have to get the MacBook Pro. And last but not least, you are getting that nano texture display options exclusively on the MacBook Pro. You're not gonna get that with the MacBook Air. This is the first ever MacBook Air that I use where I never once thought that I need more power. And I think even if you're going from an M3 to the M4, you're gonna notice that big jump. There's a big jump to the GPU. Apple really did cram as much power into the Air. It's really impressive. Remember I was saying about the heat dissipation? This doesn't get hot, but if you push it to its full potential, such as video editing and even photo editing too, for that matter, using Lightroom, for a long extended period of time, this is gonna get a bit warm. It's not gonna get hot, and that is actually gonna drain the battery faster. So that's one thing I noticed when I was editing some videos. I edited a pool cleaner video one time in Florida, and I noticed the battery was just draining super fast. Now, Apple claims up to 18 hours of video streaming and up to 15 hours of wireless web browsing. The results is gonna definitely vary on your use case. And even if you're gonna use Google Chrome, which is an absolute memory hog, that's gonna definitely vary. I highly recommend you use Safari for efficiency, but I understand you have the Google Chrome extensions. But the fact how you get in that much battery in a thin chassis like this is still pretty insane. And even a little bit of gaming too, you're gonna definitely push it out too. Yes, so yeah, for regular normal use, you're getting about 1 to 2 days, which is insane. The standby on this is bananas. And for editing and uploading videos, you still can get a full workday, but be close to a charger as possible because it depends on how long you're going to be editing those videos. All right, guys, so check this out. The standby on the M4 Air is absolutely bananas. I last charged this to 98% on January 21st, right? As you guys can see there at 3 p.m. And today's date on the time of this recording is February 6th, Friday. So been using this periodically from time to time. You guys can see just at a steady percentage, just looking at the bar here. And yeah, just the standby is just insane. I don't know what it is. This MacBook could be closed for an entire month. You open it back up, it's still alive. And I kind of want to transition to the durability aspect of it, because MacBooks are known for its insane durability. I mean, I still have my 2015 MacBook Pro and it looks still good as new. I am missing that glowing Apple logo. Apple, please bring it back. We're probably never gonna get a glowing Apple logo again. And of course, this is made up of 100% recycled aluminum. Excellent for the environment. A year later, this still feels premium, and it's gonna feel premium for years to come. And I would even argue that investing in a MacBook Air is probably one of the best investments. Something about using a Mac just feels magical, especially if you're in the Apple ecosystem. For instance, if you have an iPhone, you can use continuity camera. Essentially, you can use your iPhone as a webcam connected to your MacBook wirelessly. You also have universal clipboard, where you could copy something from your iPhone and paste it onto your Mac. Of course, you have AirDrop. Everything just works seamlessly, and that's one of the reasons why I just stay within the Apple ecosystem. Still feels premium, and of course it's lightweight, so it's easy to carry around. You can carry around school or the coffee shops, whatever you do. It's very easy to travel with. Of course, no flex, no cracks. The trackpad still feels amazing. The keyboard still feels great. The trackpad is still the best in the game. Every time I go into a Windows laptop, I always feel a little finicky with that trackpad, but that's not the case with the MacBooks. And I know you guys are probably thinking, oh, this video is sponsored by Apple. You would think that the MacBook Air's display will look dated, but it hasn't aged at all. The display is still sharp, is bright enough for outdoor use, and is perfect for editing and media consumption. Now, like I mentioned earlier, it would be nice to get a nano texture option so it can reduce the glare, especially for outdoors. Not as bright as the Pro, but bright enough. The speakers are shockingly good considering how thin the laptop is. Now, I talked about all of the good stuff, things that I love, but let's be honest, what are some things that I don't like about the M4 MacBook Air? Well, first things first, you have limited amount of ports. I think the one that really turned me off is no SD card slot. So I am a photographer, videographer, so we gonna need that SD card slot on here. It would be perfect if this have it, but I understand why it doesn't. And like I mentioned earlier, this is still not ideal for heavy 3D workloads. That's where the Pro and the Max chips, or even the Ultra, which I have the Mac Studio M3 Ultra here, that's where those machines come into play for those heavy 3D workloads. And a big con, I would say, is the base storage. 256 gigabytes, it's not ideal for a MacBook. That's gonna fill up super fast. So yeah, you might wanna invest in external hard drives just to keep things backed up, or even upgrade the storage for that matter. None of those are deal breakers, but they are worth noting before you buy. Now, I really do appreciate how Apple bumped up the RAM, going from 8 gigabytes to 16 gigabytes. That's a nice boost, but I still highly recommend you get at least 24 gigabytes of RAM. The more RAM you have, the more applications you can run optimally. It gives you more headroom if you're gonna have more apps open or heavier or RAM hungry applications, while keeping the performance intact of your MacBook. And that was one of the reasons why I went with 24 gigabytes. And maybe you should upgrade to that too as well. 16 is good enough, but 24 is recommended. And especially if you're gonna keep your MacBook for years to come, you could keep this for a good 5 to 10 years. I would say so. I mean, this is an absolute tank, guys. I don't see this slowing down no time soon at all. Business owners and anyone who wants power without bulk. And I think that is me. I want the power, but I don't want the bulk. But for 90% of the people, this is the absolute sweet spot. This is the MacBook that Apple has been chasing for years, and they finally nailed it. Now, it's not to say that the M3 or the M2 is not good. It's just that the M4 performance it just blew me away. Literally blew me away. And it did all this upgrades while slashing the price by $100, bringing it to $1,000 again. But the real $1,000 question, is it worth buying right now, or should you wait for the M5 Air? Now, I would recommend waiting to see what Apple is gonna do with the M5 Air. More than likely, Apple's gonna keep the same design and the form factor as the M4, but just put in the M5 chip. But the M5 chip is gonna bring AI performance and also a big leap into GPU performance. But I'm gonna throw a link in the description to Amazon because typically Amazon always have MacBooks on sale, as well as Best Buy. By the way, I made an entire color comparison. I highly recommend you guys check that out if you guys want to decide what's the best MacBook color for you.